Tuesday, November the 5th, and this is a fair question. Are we watching the collapse of Obamacare? We're going to take you inside the White House crisis meetings with the man who was in the Oval Office as Bill Clinton dealt with the Lewinsky crisis. We'll take you there. We will ask the judge, when is deception an outright lie? And what price is paid when once we practice to deceive? In days, Twitter goes public. Our guest says this social network is a very big winner. China's in the news. Are they going to beat us? Is this their century? Our guest says nonsense to that. And Les Gold is here. Horror stories from his pawn shop in bankrupt Detroit. Got it? Here we go.
If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan. Period.
You heard the president. If you like your plan, you can keep it. That is proven to be far from the truth, as several million people have already been told they cannot keep the plan they like. The president's now accused of deliberate deception. His harshest critics say he lied. Judge Andrew Napolitano, I believe, is one of those harsh critics. All rise, because the judge is here. Is he a liar?
Yes. Yes. I mean, listen, lying is intentional deception. It appears he intentionally deceived, and it appears because we now know from emails that have since been revealed that this issue was actually debated in the White House between the sort of policy wonks and the political wonks. The political wonks, people that advise him and manipulate his public image, wanted him to be able to say, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your insurance policy, period. When you say the word period, you are basically saying to your listeners, everything that immediately preceded the word period, I guarantee it's the absolute truth. Yet we know some of his policy people had warned him this is not going to be the case for millions of people, but they chose to make the statement anyway, seriously questioning whether or not it was true.
But had he told the complete unvarnished truth back then, maybe Obamacare would not have been enacted, and maybe he would have done far worse in the 2010 elections and his re-election in 2012.
Correct. Correct. Now he faces the problem of obviously having lied, and Democrats fleeing for cover from him because they have to run for re-election. The entire House this year and 1/3 of the Senate this year do not want to be tarnished with this. The interesting thing to me is this is the same government that prosecutes people for lying. So why is it that if we lie to the government, like Martha Stewart about whether or not she made a certain phone call on a certain share of stock, in a conversation with an FBI agent, wasn't under oath to a judge and a jury, right, during the course of which the FBI agent also lied to her. The FBI agent kept his job and she went to jail. So why is it that if we lie to the government, we can be prosecuted? But the Supreme Court has expressly held that the government can lie to us with impunity.
But it's not with impunity.
Excuse me, correct, with legal impunity. There's a political price.
That's absolutely right. There is a political price to be paid.
And he will
That is the price for deception.
Yes, he will pay that price if he's unable to govern in the next 3 years, especially if Democrats flee from him because they have to face the voters again, and they cannot do so with a straight face, embracing a lie.
Would you use that word?
Yes, I would.
Are you comfortable? Look, I'm an immigrant. I love this country. I am uncomfortable calling the president of my adopted country a liar. I'm very uncomfortable doing that.
I think it is clearly that it's clear that he uttered an untruth, a knowing untruth. He has attempted to change it after he uttered it. It was the centerpiece of his campaign in 2008. It was the centerpiece of his campaign to get this passed. Last night, you and I were on the Kelly Files with Megyn Kelly. Her producers brilliantly assembled almost all the times he said that. You got blue in the face. You heard it so many times. I forgot. He said it so many times in so many different venues, but always the same way. If you like your policy, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. And then looking in the camera and saying, period.
I'm sorry.
You cannot do that unless you know with certainty that what you're saying is the truth.
But he knew at the time, his administration knew at the time that it was not true.
Correct.
That's true. I'm sorry, Charles.
No, I'm saying, to the judge's point, to your point, what Republican is going to come out now and say that the president lied?
Yes.
Because, I mean, I agree with you, and I think the White House found itself in a position...
That's a great follow-up question, because the Republicans are hurting because of the manner in which they are perceived by the public after the shutdown of last month. I think in a couple of months the shutdown will be forgotten, and Republicans, like pundits have been doing, are going to have to come out and saying, how can we believe you? Were you lying then, or are you lying now?
But he's right, Charles. That's a very good point, Charles. If any prominent Republican comes out and says the president is a liar, then they suffer the political fallout for having used that harsh word about the President of the United States of America. And I predict that no Republican will do it.
But when the harsh word is true and demonstrably true, Republicans should not fear to articulate it.
Well, how about immigrants?
Nicely put, Philip. I say so myself.
I had to get there. Great stuff, Judge, and thank you so much, as always.